everybody doing? Let me see who's on the chat today. Rizey, you said hey to Cammy, but I'm not Cammy. I'm beginning to think y'all like Cammy better than me. And that's okay if you do. Low Wave, Ashley Soul. I don't know how to say your name. Siki AK. Bufo. Mr. Smith. What's up? Fairy Boy Beats. Eighth Life. Esquire Music. Too Sharp Terry. All right, we've got a lot of homies in the building today. So hi, everybody. It feels like it's been a million years, but I've definitely talked to you guys more this month than I have in a long time. We've done a couple shows already, and it's only the top of May. So hello. I've got some memos for you. So a few things you need to know. Don't forget to send in your beats for the special opportunity to earn placements on Sally Sosa's next project. She's looking for pain, melody, and up-tempo beats with hard 808s between 160 and 180 BPM in the keys B minor flat, pardon my notifications, B minor flat, F, and G. Submissions end May 26th, and you could visit www.beatstars.world/Sally Sosa. Make sure you get those submissions in. I think that's a great opportunity. I know some of y'all are looking for the opportunity to start getting some placements on your resume. So Miles says that he was on top of that one extra early. So I love to hear that. I cannot wait to hear the beats that you guys submit. And then another thing is don't forget to join us for BeatStars' new production masterclass series called Master the Beat with Benji Yang on May 22nd for insights on YouTube, social media marketing, branding, getting placements, creating a fan base, and more. You can RSVP here at www.beatstars.world/Benji. Ross Move says that they're signed up for that one. So I love it. You guys are on it. I love that you guys are paying attention to the things that we put out. I'm really proud of you guys for, joining the info sessions that we host and watching the shows and just learning as much as you can. I think it's really beautiful. And I love seeing the same ones of you guys in here every single week. So anyways, a lot of you guys want to know about those insights like building your YouTube, everything I just mentioned. So make sure to do that. And then a reminder, and I'll remind you again before the end of the show, but we are now on Twitter Spaces every day of the week at 4 p.m. Eastern. So you can join us live for exclusive Q&As with BeatStars executives, opportunities and challenge updates, beat listening parties, and so much more. So you can follow us for more information on our socials at BeatStars. Today is going to be with Carly. So if you guys haven't met Carly or you've seen her on the platform, this is a great opportunity to chat with her. I'll be hanging out with you guys on Friday in the Twitter Spaces as well. So jump on in, and now back into the show. So welcome to The Deal. I'm Tia, and I work here at BeatStars. If you're new to The Deal, we are highlighting our BeatStars Publishing roster. BeatStars Publishing is a partnership between BeatStars and Sony Music Publishing, who are the #1 global music publisher in the world. If you're interested in finding out more information, including how you can sign up for BeatStars Publishing, you can head over to beatstars.com/publishing. And don't forget to follow at BeatStars Publishing for some free industry game and get better acquainted with some of the talented producers on our roster. This week, we are hanging out with eeryskies and Gabe Monro, but if you want to rewatch this interview, you can check it out later alongside all of our past shows and BeatStars content, including tutorials on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/official BeatStars. Don't forget to subscribe and be notified of new uploads. There's so many links. I hope everybody sees all of them in the chat. www.beatstars.com/publishing. And don't forget, again, Twitter Spaces every day, 4 p.m. Eastern. What's Bufo saying in this chat? If you're having trouble coming up with pain melodies, I recommend you fall in love with someone on OnlyFans. You'll be heartbroken and ready to write in 2 weeks tops. That's the secret nobody's talking about. Can't confirm or deny if this is a major key, but it might be. So write that down, I suppose. All right, guys, I'm going to bring the guys in so you could say hello. Make sure to give a warm welcome to eeryskies, Gabe Monro. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
What's going on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gabe.
Oh, man, this is the worst part about the live stream thing. You go ahead, man.
No, I'm doing good, though. Go ahead, man. You're good.
Dude, I'm doing excellent. I'm really happy to be here.
So for sake of ease and maybe eliminating the confusion, I guess I'll just call on you guys each for the questions, so you don't have to do that. It's like a Zoom meeting when it's like, can everybody hear me? But I guess first and foremost, I'll start with Eerie Skies. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what kind of music you make?
Yeah, so I'm Eerie Skies, and I am from, right now, currently based in Maryland, like Ellicott City, Baltimore area. And I'd say like my go-to is hip hop and like alternative hip hop. I make a lot of I like live instruments and stuff like that. Really like raw stuff, and it's just easier because I have like more room to mess up, and it flies. But yeah.
I think your music is really like warm, so I'm really excited for everybody here.
Yeah, I cut a lot of highs out, and I use a lot of saturation, so that'll probably explain why.
There you have it, folks. Gabe, as for you, King.
Hey, shucks. I'm from New York City, born and raised here. I was born in Manhattan. Now I'm in Brooklyn, which is where this studio I'm in is at. I make everything, but my go-to is definitely hip hop, a lot of alternative hip hop. I really like trap music. I grew up playing metal, and I feel like that same sort of like heavy energy comes through in trap music, but I'm also like I was raised playing jazz. So like I learned my way around music theory, but I was the kid getting kicked out of jazz practice rooms for playing Rick Ross. So that's me.
I feel like that is an incredible introduction. I'd love to know how you guys really got into music. What was your start? Like, what's your earliest memory of enjoying music or making it? And I'll start with you, Josh, or Eerie Skies.
Yeah, I would say I was in like, I think it was 6th or 7th, early like middle school. My dad was like, "Hey, you want to take guitar lessons?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And I remember it was like, I don't know, when you're a kid, like soccer practice and all these other things, like you don't ever really want to go to them, but you know, you do, you go through. And then I eventually like gave it up, but that was kind of like what introduced it. And like, even at the start of my production, I never really used too many guitars, but I remember just like picking it up one day and like, I was like, oh, this is why I took these lessons. So it ended up paying out, but that was like my first earliest memory.
And what about you, Gabe?
Man, I had been doing this my whole life. My parents got me into music when I was really, really young. Neither of them are musicians, but both of them are really, really deep into music. My dad used to take me to concerts when I was like 5, 6, like as young as I could remember. I started playing guitar. I moved to bass because it sounded really good. Like I said, I was playing a lot of jazz, a lot of metal. I was taking every gig I possibly could. And then I was at a jazz camp getting kicked out for playing Rick Ross. And this guy, Ivan Jackson, who's now in this band Brass Tracks, that's my big brother, sort of was like, "Hey, like this is really cool and jazz is really cool, but have you heard of Ableton?" And that's kind of where it all started. I must have been like 15.
Yeah, you noted to me that you've been doing this for a decade, so I'm interested to see all the little ins and outs. You have a pretty extensive history, which we'll obviously get into, but I think everyone here will also find it pretty interesting. Actually, you know what? Maybe we could just talk about it now. So if you want to share, like you said, you've been professionally touring for a decade and producing since you were 21. So how have you been able to kind of combine the two worlds and make the most out of them?
Sure. I mean, first and foremost, like I'm on the planet to make music. It's the thing that has always brought me the most joy, and it's going to happen one way or the other. So like participating in the music industry was sort of the natural next step. But playing every different kind of music that I could possibly get my hands on or let people, you know, "Hey, let me play in your band. Let me play in your band." Forever, you know, eventually led to bigger and bigger gigs. Like I was really, really blessed to do like in New York, the Highline Ballroom, Bowery Ballroom, all that stuff by the time I was like 17. So when I learned all that stuff, it came really naturally to move into production. You know, I'll talk to somebody who's, "Hey, I really love hip hop, but like I have this like ear for rock music." Like, okay, cool. I know about that. Like, "Oh, I love R&B, but I want like more jazz flavor." I'm like, "Okay, cool. You need more 9s and 13s in there. Let's go." Like, whatever it is, I've got my feet in it. So it sort of was a natural next step to work in production and meet really wonderful people and help them make some music that express them.
Being so young, starting so young, especially as far as touring goes, like how did that shape you overall? Like what were some of the things that you learned maybe before your friends did about navigating life and things like that? I know that's a pretty deep question. I'll give you a second.
Sure. I mean, shucks, what did I learn from that? I mean, I was very much treated as an adult from a young age. Like, you know, when you're on stage, no one cares that you're 16 or no one cares that you're 20 or however old it is. Like, you're the guy on the stage and you have to do a good job. Mm-hmm. And that's that. You know, if you mess up, that's on you. There's no one you can blame. That's you. You played the wrong note. So, you know, that brought a sense of responsibility that I think has served me really well, and a sense of professionalism that I've tried to carry into most of the things that I do. You know, you can ask my friends if that's really there, but that's how I think about it. So, you know, there's the deeper philosophical side is, you know, you grow up fast.
Yeah, you're growing and on your job at all times. But I think that's pretty special, because I imagine it really helped you hone in on your music skills and sharpen your ear and all of those things. So you're also in a position of benefit, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think that's super dope. Eerie Skies. So you mentioned to me that you've been able to, you're going to have to unmute yourself. But you mentioned to me that you were able to transition doing music full time. So what has that looked like for you? What were you doing before that? And what has that transition looked like for you?
Yeah, of course. So that's actually the step that's about to take place kind of in the next couple of weeks. So I'm currently in college. So it's been, needless to say, I mean, kind of to touch on what we just talked about, there's like, when you kind of get put into it very quickly, you do have to make sacrifices. You know, you 14-hour days, 5-6 days a week. You know, you see your friends less, this and that. But it's kind of like what Gabe was saying. It's like when you just want to make music and you just kind of like, some days you like may not be feeling it, but as soon as you start creating, you just immediately like, I remember why I do this. Yeah, so that's kind of like, ever since it's kind of been building and building. It's my dream when I was in high school as well. I just want to make music and I want to live on the West Coast. That's like the two boxes I've always wanted to check. And so it's kind of like, as things have progressed, I've kind of made the decision I'm going to step back from school for a little bit. And I mean, it's here now, and it could be a very bad decision. And most old people have told me, no, finish school, this and that. But it's kind of like my philosophy is it's in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and take it. And yeah, to your point, make music my full-time job, which is, it blows my mind every time I'm able to say that. It's a weird feeling, but.
What were you taking in school?
I was studying business. So which has helped. But with COVID, it's kind of been like survival of the fittest. It's whatever you can do to make sure you get through it. But there has been some things that apply directly to like selling beats and getting your name out there and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. I think at least for the conversation of working in the music industry, as much as the knowledge is extremely important, you're able to survive on who you know as well. And I think that's a heavier piece of the music industry. It's really relationships. So for those who have told you it's not a good idea, I think you're going to be just fine.
I mean, connections are everything. And that's the whole purpose. It's like, you know, I had a conversation with a friend. It's like, yeah, I can sell beats from Maryland. I can make beats. But the whole sole purpose of being in a city and being around people is to be in studios, make those connections, and just like become friends with like-minded people, which is, I think, super crucial.
100%. I want to know about how you even got started on BeatStars, or how you found us, and maybe you can talk about some of the ways that's been able to support you reaching your dreams.
Yeah, I guess go real quick first on this one. Mine, like I said, everything kind of happened very quickly for me. I remember like I started in artistry and like rapping and stuff like that. That was kind of like my first take to music, and eventually started making beats. But I was like solely on YouTube and just kind of posting things there, took a very long break, and then came back and just got consistent with it. But the channel just started blowing up really, really quickly, and I couldn't keep up with it. It was emails of, hey, let me buy this beat, MP3 and this. And I was like, what the heck are these people talking about? And so a good friend of mine had told me, he was like, hey man, just make a BeatStars and sell your beats. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I just went in one day and I spent like a whole weekend, because I had like 40 beats. So I had to upload the stems and everything, but got my pro page set up. And that was like, it definitely was a game changer. Because like I said, it all happened so quick. I didn't really know that there was a market for buying beats, and like I didn't think people actually did it. And then just kept going and going to the point where it's like now it's just not a website to sell beats. You're connecting with artists, other producers. You're like, there's actual following on there as well, which is super helpful. But yeah.
I want to come back to you to talk about your blowing up across YouTube and BeatStars. But Gabe, I have the same question for you. How did you find BeatStars, and maybe what made you feel like this was home for you as far as BeatStars Publishing goes?
Absolutely. So the way I initially got into it was my buddy Danny also works at BeatStars, Danny Kramer. Shout out Danny Kramer. One of the best gentlemen in the whole game. God bless him. He started working at BeatStars and said, hey man, you should make a BeatStars. And I wasn't sure, but I started looking at the site, and because in my head I was like, oh, it's trap beats on the internet, like that's cool. But as I dug into it, I saw, wow, this is so much more. Like this is a whole community. This is exactly the same thing that we're doing when we go to the studio or we go to a function and we meet people and give them music to work on. This is just happening over the internet. Like I've been very blessed to be active in the New York community. Go out, see this rapper, that singer, meet them, talk to them. Oh man, we should work on something together. When COVID came around, like that's not really something we're able to do anymore. But the community is still there, just online, and it's on BeatStars. And I realized it was so much deeper than just trap. There's a space for all kinds of music on here. Actually, in particular, man, eeryskies was kind of a big inspiration for that, man. So it was so cool to see, like, hey, here's the opportunity to get music out to new people and see who does something really interesting with it. And that community is what made it feel like home.
I think that's so beautiful, and I'm happy you listened to Danny. I have two questions. So the first one is, you said you were active in the New York music community. So what does a regular networking experience look like for you, or how do you seek out making relationships that you want to make? We talk a lot about that on the show, and I don't think there's one right answer or one right method. So I'm interested to hear yours.
Sure. For me, like so much of it has been connected to live music. I'm a bass player, and that's, both an occupation, but also just like it sort of becomes you, like you end up in a supportive role, in all sorts of contexts. So, for me, it's talking to other musicians I'm working with who are like, oh, I'm a guitar player. Oh, I just started working with this rapper. We're writing some songs. Like, oh man, maybe I could add something to it. In general, like the basic principle has just been like adding value to what is happening around you in some way, whether that's just being good vibes or, constructive feedback on a song or playing on a song or producing on it, whatever it is, just helping whatever's in front of you flourish. So when that comes to networking in particular, or like your average New York City connection making moment, a really good example, also shout out the guys Treble in New York. They're awesome. And they would host Treble Tuesdays, which are just, hey, we get free Jägermeister, free beer, come meet all the cool creatives in New York. You just go meet people, talk to them. Oh, I heard your song. I really liked this part. I really thought this was cool. Like, here's what I really loved about your music. What are you working on? Oh, you're working on this? Like, oh, that's super cool. I hear it. Like, man, that's really cool. But what if you tried this thing? Or like, yo, you should stop by. Maybe I could like give you better ears or work on the mix or whatever it is. Just, you meet people and find a way to add value to what they're doing, Yeah.
And I think even especially for some of the guys who don't necessarily have to go out into the world on a regular basis, especially like being a producer and being in COVID, even before COVID, I think even for myself, just showing up to shows and showcases and events and whatever, and like just mustering up that confidence to even just say hello was a huge stepping stone for me and really helped me, navigate. And I think even you saying it was called Treble Tuesdays, I imagine you met a ton of people there. So it's just, I guess, be active and go do the thing, guys.
Yeah, and be nice.
Be nice. That is the biggest key. I still need to get an air horn for the show for when someone says things like that. And I guess my second question is, being a part of our roster now, what kind of things has that afforded you, shifting out of like a tour space more into production, or what are some things that you're looking forward to?
I'm really excited. I mean, it sounds weird because we've been locked at home for like a year and a half, but I'm actually really excited to be home with like a stable schedule. Touring is the best thing in the world. I wouldn't trade it, but you know, at the same time, it's really, really hard to maintain relationships, to be present with the people that you love and care about. So shifting over to the roster, you know, I'm not planning to give up touring in any capacity. I got a couple of shows coming up with my buddy Rents. Shout out Rents. I'm just gonna shout out everybody. But I'm really excited to be around and to have a consistent schedule, you know, to be present with my family and my friends, and to really focus on creating the coolest music that I possibly can without necessarily worrying about like, well, I'm only in the studio for 3 days before I'm on the road for a month. So I'm really excited about it.
I love that for you, and we're so happy to have you. And like I said to Eerie Skies, I can't wait to play your music for everybody. Eerie Skies, same question for you. What has being a part of the roster afforded you, or what are you looking forward to through this partnership?
Yeah, I mean, to kind of like touch on what Gabe had said, I think a big thing for me is I just really like my sole focus has been connections recently. And the first thing I've noticed with BeatStars is, you know, things like this, you know, I talk to Danny like every couple weeks, just having conversations with everybody. It was like, and that happened immediately once joining the roster. And it was like, okay, this is kind of like, you're getting to know people and just having these conversations. It, you know, builds relationships, but it teaches you things. You might hear like one sentence that just kind of like gets driven into your mind and you just think about it. And it could be like a life-changing thing, as cliche as that sounds. But a big one for me is also kind of like the like placements and the opportunities that come with it. I mean, it's very difficult for, like, you can't realistically just be like, okay, what's, you know, Trippie Red's email and let me send him some beats, you know, or like Mick Jenkins or somebody. And to have like the requests and pack requests and stuff like that, it makes it a little bit more accessible. And it's fun to just kind of like pull out a piece of paper, write down a bunch of beats for each artist and like take a day and just kind of cater things. So I would say that's probably my top two things, the connections and then placement opportunities. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited for some of you guys. I mean, I recently shifted, a lot of people don't know this, but I recently shifted to the music team. I'm just getting started there. So I'm really excited to see and work with your guys' music more often and just see like where your strengths are and place you places that make sense as far as like sending out pack requests and the sort. So I'm glad you're excited about that. I am also very excited.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like too. It's like I said, I talk to Danny quite often. He'll send me pack requests, and it's like he's big on trying to send me pack requests for something that caters to my music, which is a big thing. Like, you know, knowing that you guys are listening to that and kind of understanding, but kind of similar to what Gabe said, we make everything under the sun sometimes, so it's kind of like anything might work.
Yeah, you cover a lot of bases, and I think that's a skill, and I think that's important in the music industry. Josh, I have another question for you. I mean, I want to talk a little bit about, we talked about Gabe's second life or other life, but you also have a couple of hustles yourself. You are a lyricist, but you also have a podcast. I checked that out a little bit earlier. So I'd really love to know, I guess, about both worlds and how you got into both of those things and what brings you the most joy out of them.
Yeah, I'm really big on kind of like not doing the same things over and over. With music, obviously you have your process, you have your, you know, things that are gonna occur every day. But it's like outside of that, I like to just try like ideas that are so far like left field. And yeah, so like the couple of the biggest ones recently have been clothing, and then I did have the podcast going for a while. And the podcast was a selfish one. I really just wanted an excuse to talk to other people. And I know like, hey, you want to do a podcast? It's like, yeah, I'll talk to you for an hour and a half. And it worked. I mean, I talk to everyone who I've done a podcast with regularly now, and like Stoic Beats, kind of like that birthed like a very, very close friendship. And it was like, it did its job. I haven't done it recently, but just trying new things. I like to have my hands in as many baskets as possible, but also I have to understand that like music is the focus. And then once that gets done, then everything else can be like, you know, just trying random things.
Yeah, I think you're in a particularly interesting position. One, being able to create music that you can write for is one thing, because that opens up a whole other bag. Like, you to be a songwriter for yourself or otherwise is, yeah, you having your eggs in another basket or another stream of income technically. But then also this podcast, not only are you making yourself available to the community, you're communicating with people you want to meet. And I think that's a really interesting and unique way to network, especially when it comes to the fact that whoever you're talking to, I'm sure, has a lot of experience, as do you. But then you get to learn some, and like you said, you made a friend. So I think altogether it's a pretty good business model, even if
understanding the artist side is really helpful as well, because a lot of times when making beats, you kind of may find yourself like filling in spaces because you need it needs to sound full before it goes out. But I can't remember the last time I didn't freestyle or sing the entire time I'm making a beat, and it's really helpful because while you're doing that, you just picture the pocket for the artist, and then like a lot of times I'll be like, oh, let me put a lead in here, but it's like, no, I don't want to lead in there as an artist, so I'm just gonna put it out like this. It's really important to try it. Even if you can't sing or rap, just try it. It's helpful.
Yeah, I give it a try. It teaches you other skills and helps you be useful in other places. And then you know where your music needs to go when you already have a vision for it, really. So I think that's pretty dope. Thank you for sharing those things.
Yeah.
Gabe, you told me, and I'm going to let you take the lead on the conversation, but you recently worked with one of your favorite artists, your favorite rappers. So I don't know if you want to jump into how that happened and what that relationship looks like.
Sure. Yeah, so I recently got to work on Synonyms of Strength, which was this EP that was released by Radamiz, who, and someone fight me on this, it's the best rapper in New York. I said what I said.
Hey, New York, don't start a brawl in the chat.
All or right. Do whatever you want.
Oh, you said square up, so I guess you could go ahead then.
Radamiz is an unbelievably talented human being. It was an absolute honor and privilege to work with him. I produced 2 of the songs and I mixed the entire EP. We worked together super closely because it came out we were working on it right at the beginning of the pandemic. And we sort of made the decision like, all right, we're going to lock in. We didn't have the information that we have now. We didn't have the testing that we have now. We're talking like April, May of last year. And Radamiz lives uptown, and I was staying at my father's house, which is also uptown. I went to go take care of him and my grandma. And I would go up there and work on the project at his house. And it came to be because we had developed a professional and personal friendship through just the New York City community. I work a lot with this guy, Rothstein, who is also unbelievably talented, one of the best top liners in the game. I steal all my good top line tricks from him, like how to write top line, 100% school of Rothstein, 20% everything else, but like 80% school of Rothstein. But Roth and Rad had a relationship because Rothstein had featured on Radamiz's project. Rad and I started working together, and just very quickly we had very compatible mindsets when it came to music. I have some unreleased Radamiz songs that are just like nothing you've ever heard before in your life. Wow. And yeah, it was just an honor and a pleasure. Made me so happy.
Sorry, I'm just about to paste his name in the chat so everybody can go find, because some folks are asking.
Radamiz.
There we go. So you can look up Radamiz. So you're speaking about like mindset and just like vibing that way. So what are some things that you look for as far as an artist goes, and maybe you can attribute it to Radamiz as far as what really helped you lock in with him?
Sure. So in terms of similar mindset, I think for me, there's all the tangible parts of music. There's like, I like hip hop, I like R&B, I like this energy, this mood, the stuff we can really like describe. And that's an important first step, like that, like if I get in a room with someone who's super deep into classical music, there's going to be a little bit of like trying to figure out where we can meet in the middle.
Yeah, there's a language barrier there.
Yeah. But you can move past it. And in the same way that you find a compatible mindset with the people who are in your field, it's more about like, what is music to you? Like, how do you hear this? How do you feel it? What does it mean to you? Is this an income stream? Is this something you do for fun? Where does this live in your soul? And for me, I've been really fortunate to be working with people who just feel it very deeply, who feel very connected to music as a concept, which doesn't limit it to any genre and any particular thing. You know, it could be any genre of music, but if what it means to you means what it means to, it's the same thing to me. You know, that's what's fueled a lot of cross-genre collaborations that I've been really happy with the results of. In particular with Radamiz, he is someone who like sort of has his roots in this very New York hip hop, you know, flows, bars, and he has all that, but he's also very interested in expanding and becoming a genre-defying artist, someone who lives in his own space, someone who creates his own sound, and that's what I'm doing. So, you know, it was just cool to meet on that level and work together on that level.
I love that. And I wish you guys a very long-standing working relationship. If that's the energy that you get from somebody, I think that is something you need to hold on to. And I think it's really beautiful. So congratulations on finding that in this lifetime. I'm going to jump back over to Josh. So I'd love to know, we talked a little bit about this earlier because you kind of said your presence online, everything really happened really fast. So I want to know what you think it was that had your channel blowing up and how you were able to cross that over to BeatStars.
Yeah. One person I just saw in the chat, getting the first 1,000 subs is the hardest part of a type beat channel. And I definitely agree with that. I remember, because the goal is once you hit 1,000, you can get monetized. And you're like, that's it. I'm going to go make a living now. You know, but it happened really quick. I had posted a beat and then went on vacation. And I think halfway through the vacation, I'm like, all these emails. And I'm just like, I never get emails. And it's like people trying to buy this beat. And I'm like, buy a beat? What is it? You know, so I'm sending out MP3s and getting $20 back on PayPal and selling exclusives for like $60. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And, but it's just, I told myself the second I get home, it was kind of like, gonna double down. But before I had done that, I had again a friend, Saint, who had blown up like right before me. We kind of always gone back and forth. He gave me the advice of like what like had blown up, double down on that. And I was like, really? Like, I don't know, it seems unorganic. He was like, you don't even have to make like the same type of beat, just title it a Mac Miller type beat, because that's what had blown up. So like I was making anything and I was like, well, this is perfect. Mac Miller has made like every type of music you can think of. So I was just every other day, post after post after post. And I think honestly, that was what did it. It was just, that was the reason it was so quick, is because, I mean, the way YouTube works is when you type in a Mac Miller type beat, the better you're going to rank for that. YouTube says, well, we can put ads, we're going to get more eyes, we're going to put you higher up in the search terms. They're benefiting, which directly correlates to you benefiting. So it was really just kind of, I don't want to use the word abusing, but kind of like doubling down on those search terms and going hard at it. But it hit a certain point where it like plateaued and you're like, okay, well, you can only make so many of the same beat. And you're kind of like standing on a dangerous edge where if you keep going with this, you're just going to burn out. So that was when I've kind of transitioned to more of like a longer mindset where it's like, I'm not going to just make Mac Miller type beats. Obviously I like making them. I'm going to title them, but yeah, it just all happened quick. And then BeatStars kind of, they were like towers. They were together because you got your purchase link in the description and then they go to your BeatStars and then all of a sudden, you know, now they're over there and they follow you. And then one trick that I quickly learned is actually a little bit better is sending people to your pro page instead of your marketplace. Because if you send them to your pro page, that's like, it's like sending somebody to your website, but if they go on the marketplace, they're going to get everyone else's beats. But also it allows you to see on the back end, well, how many sales are coming from YouTube and how many sales are coming from just BeatStars. If you get something from the pro page, generally that means they came from YouTube. And then, so, but yeah, they were just twins. They kept building together and still, it's like every type beat producer, BeatStars and YouTube, it's like the perfect combination.
Yeah, we talk a lot about just honing in or finding a niche. I think a lot of your roster mates have said a similar thing. Is like picking an artist and make sure that you're tagging that artist as frequently as possible or catering to a specific sound. Other folks just are lucky and just blow up off of any track. So I think that's really interesting. And I think Mac Miller type beats are super popular anyway. I think Boo asked 2 questions in the chat. Was it really quick, like 2 weeks, 2 months? Because you said you posted the beat and then went on vacation. So I assume within like a week or two.
Yeah, it was, so technically speaking, I had kind of gone hard for like 6 months, and then I got really discouraged and just kind of was like, all right, I'm going to focus on school. And I gave up for like almost 8 or something. Like there was a big gap of no posting. And I got an email from someone and they said, hey man, missed your uploads, your music is this and that. And it just kind of like, it's like, oof. But the second I got back into it, it was kind of like, it happened pretty fast. I wouldn't say it was like a couple weeks, but I would say the beat blew up probably within like a month or two. And then after that, it was like just making sure I maintained it and not burn myself out, which in the beginning I did. It's hard to kind of like prepare yourself. But
I can literally just picture you like sitting in the dark, just like avid.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about directing your traffic to your pro page. I think that's like an underrated tip, and a lot of people skip over that, especially when you're independent. It's hard to deal with the influx of messages. I'm sure you having those emails were extremely overwhelming all at once.
I've met a lot of people who let it stack up. I'm big, like no matter what, if I'm anywhere in the world or whatever, I answer every email and every comment every morning. Because like once it gets to a certain point, you got 100 DM requests, that's obviously unmanageable. But if it's 20, 30 a day, it takes a couple hours, but I don't know, I like connecting with people. It's more fun that way.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to maintain your connection, and also a really good way to stay on top of your business. Because it's like sometimes, no shade to any other producers, but sometimes I'll send an email out and it's like, I have to send 3-4 follow-ups for things I need for them. So I think staying on top of your email is a really beautiful plan and smart. And using your pro page as your main point of contact, or the ultimate one, is probably super helpful. Gabe, I don't know if because I know you just uploaded some of your tracks, but I don't know if you've had time to poke around the marketplace and if there's any like one thing or a handful of things that you love about BeatStars that you can share with everybody here.
Sure. I mean, I'm very new here to BeatStars. So, in terms of giving you really solid advice, eeryskies has the, everything he said sounded wonderful. So I would listen to him. But from what I've poked around on, I mean, it seems like a lot of stuff is driven a lot by keywords, in particular, like we were just talking about. I really like seeing everyone's different takes on what that means. I mean, like the idea of like Schoolboy Q type beat, like there's 100 different sounds that man has done. So like seeing what different people think of that. And then within that, getting real specific on what exactly it is that you have. Like, again, Schoolboy Q type beat sounds kind of specific, but it also kind of isn't. So I wish I had more advice, but listen to eeryskies. That's my advice.
It doesn't even have to be advice, but I think it's interesting to see what even draws people to the platform to begin with. So I definitely think like breaking down naming conventions is a huge part of making sure that you get your beat seen or recognized or whatever it is that you're actually looking to do. And I appreciate eeryskies' support in that corner. I think what we're going to do now is jump into playing some of your tracks. So guys in the chat, I need everybody to wake up and let me know who you want to hear first. The first combination of 3 that I see is the first person I'm going to run with. I'm going to give everybody a second to do that while I open these pages here.
Real quick, I hope you don't mind. Someone just had asked a quick question while you were pulling that up. I thought I might address it. They said, what did you do to sustain it after the Mac Miller beats blew up? And this is something I struggled with. Testing. Drop a really obscure upload. Like I remember one time I dropped a Frank Ocean beat and it didn't do well. And then a couple weeks later, I tried it again. And then once it blew up, it's like playing a video game. Achievement that you unlocked it. The second it blows up. So kind of just keep pushing. Make sure you make music you like and trying to like squeeze yourself into these search terms. And then once it kind of does well or gets good views, hammer that one for a little bit. But yeah, that was just all that question.
I hope that was helpful, guys. Okay, so they voted for eeryskies. It was like eeryskies, Josh. All right, so is there a beat that you want to start with?
Ooh, that's a great question. The one I'm most proud of, I guess we can start with that. That Close to You one took me like a week.
Okay. Any key words you have for that, or any vibe?
It's different. It's more kind of ambient. It's a slow build. It kind of like each section has something new. That was the approach I took with that one.
All right, guys. So don't forget to get your Tim boots ready. Where's Low Wave? He's usually the first one to be like, don't forget to have your Tim boots. Oh, KP, I actually beat you to it today. Low Wave, that's crazy. Everybody have your Tim boot emotes ready. Rate the track out of 5 Tim boots or 5 of whatever emoji that you so choose. All right, here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay. I generally play like 1 minute of a track, but I had to leave it. I want to see where we are going. Everybody's giving you like a ton of Tim boot emotes. Low Wave was already following you, so you already have a fan here.
I appreciate all the love. Yeah, that one, like I even noticed it. I was like, oh, same 4 chords for a little while.
No, I think it's so beautiful. I think your tags were really on point. And I mean, like we said earlier, like tagging is such an important piece of it. And I think you got the artist. I could literally hear, I heard Frank Ocean like singing in my head as we were going. So I think it was fire. Cloud9 says it's I wasn't ready to deal with my feelings to beat. Okay, guys. Your next track, what you want to play?
Let's go with the Go Easy. I think there's a lot of Mac Miller fans in here. So this is my favorite all-time Mac Miller beat that I've made. And it was a collaboration with my stepbrother. He helped with all the melodies and stuff. So
shout out to your stepbrother.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so toothpick hanging out my mouth and guitar in my hand on the porch type beat.
Cloud9 is killing it with the references of what they are.
I usually lean on Cloud9 to give us what type beat it is. He does this on a lot of shows, and it's hilarious every single time. Eighth Life said they can hear Mac crooning all over this, even has his tone to it. And I agree, like I could hear him. I was going to say when he gets in that low, like mumbly, like singy voice, ooh, recipes, man.
That one was really inspired by the intro of Circles. That's one of my all-time favorite Mac tracks.
There you have it. I remember I went to the Mac Miller concert in Toronto when I was like 17, and we wanted to be front row so bad. We sat outside in the blazing sun for literally like 12 hours until we could get into the show. And it was one of the craziest moments of my life. I'll never forget it.
Oh, I bet. That was my big, I never saw him live. I always wanted to, though.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, at least there's videos because you could really capture the energy.
Yeah.
Not the same,
big
but
inspiration.
all right, 3 more to go. Which one?
All right, we'll hit Nowadays. Another vibe switch.
All right. Ooh. I want to let it run, but I can't. I don't have enough time. It's such a vibe. Ben Lupin said, very good exhibition of your talent with these, and I agree. These are very versatile.
Thank you.
Someone said, I feel like I heard this somewhere. Is this on a BeatStars playlist or something? Honestly, probably.
Yeah, this one definitely got reposted or something. But my homie Versus Beats, also, he made the sample too. But so I don't know, someone might have also flipped the same sample. Who knows?
There you have it. All right.
Ooh.
Lost Thoughts or Yellow Lights? Sorry.
We'll hit Yellow Lights, finish it out with Lost Thoughts.
All right. I'm sorry. I feel so bad every time I turn them off. Bufo said he really likes these romantic joints. He's a big fan, bro. No cap.
Hey, well, yeah, this one was like the first. This was right after Circles came out. I think I just got off of an airplane, and someone I remember. This is one of those beats where you remember exactly what you were doing, what the weather was. Like, yeah,
wow,
my favorite all-time one, just because of the memory.
It's like It's giving me like outro vibes.
Yeah, like a little bit of like chill, kind of just let it ride type of thing.
Yeah. Positivity. Even Chance the Rapper would be good on that one too. I think that would be cool.
That.
Yeah. All right. Lost Thoughts. Any final words?
This is the beat that actually blew my channel up. This was the one that left for vacation, came back, and it was going crazy. So.
All right. This was the big guy. Let's go. All right, I let it run a little bit longer. Thank you for sharing these with us, Eerie.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
And everyone, thank you for all the kind words. Appreciate it a lot.
Yes, I was just going to thank everybody in the chat for being so active and kind. Gabe.
Time to hear the better beats.
Oh, come on now. No. Wait a minute. I need like 10 seconds to shout out this band, eeryskies. Every single one of those was amazing. Close to You is gorgeous, man. When you said like, oh man, like same 4 chords, I was like, absolutely not, man. That's exactly what you were saying about hearing the space for the artist and where the melody lives. That sort of thing, man. I thought that was all of those were wonderful, man. You're really dope.
Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta like, when you listen to a lot of songs, most of them are so minimal in the verses and like other sections. So it's just, like you said, letting them breathe. But thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, Gabe had his face screwed up the whole time. Every time I glanced at the screen, he was like...
Yeah.
It was amazing. What do you want me to do? Like, am I supposed to sit there and act like I don't love it?
Once I saw that, I was like, the nod of approval.
It's this, man. It's ooh.
Ooh, King Swisser asked a question I was gonna ask. I smell a collab, maybe?
I think so.
Let's go.
I might be sending somebody a DM this afternoon.
Let's go, man. Not if I beat you to it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my god, I love what's happening right now. This is making my day.
This is what I'm talking about, the connection. This is the best part of music.
All right, Gabe, you're on deck, buddy. What song do you want to start with? We could do 5, so just keep that in mind.
Shucks. Let's see. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I was uploading these. I wasn't sure what kind of vibe we were want us to play, but let's start with the top one.
All right, let's do this.
BeatStars.com. BeatStars.com.
What a vibe. See, yeah, we definitely need a collaboration with you two. I think it would work perfect. Somebody asked me who I hear on this beat. First, I was leaning towards like a Victoria Monet. I feel like she could be really fire on it. And then I thought some more, and I'm like also, or alternatively, Sid would float on that. I think she would be really fire on that. That's just me though. Who do you hear on it, Ross Move? Okay, what's your next one?
Oh man. Let's go with shucks. Either You Don't or Beach. Either one of them.
You're gonna make me pick?
Yeah, I'm about to make you pick.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Vince Staples tag.
BeatStars.com. BeatStars.com.
Did you play guitar on that?
No, Jack G did. Jack G is one of my very dearest friends in the whole world. He is also currently about 300 or like 30 feet above my head right now. He is an unbelievably talented musician, guitar player, producer. Shout out Jack G.
Shout out Jack G. Very
I did play bass on it though.
Yeah, sorry, I said guitar and I meant to say bass, but I could hear it, like, especially in the last couple seconds. I was like, ooh, Bufo, you're out of pocket with the comments, King. It's a little crazy. It's disgusting. I need you to relax, bucko. All right, what's your next pick?
Shucks. Let's go with You Don't. That was the other one.
Let's do it.
BeatStars.com. BeatStars.com.
That was my favorite one from you so far, Gabe. That one.
Thank you.
Yeah, King Swisser with the trillion Tim boots for you. A lot of fire emojis from Bufo. Bufo said he hears this in a TV soon. Or a TV scene. Sorry, not soon. I believe it. Okay. Well, I don't know where else we could go from there, but all right, two more.
All right. I mean, I'll hit a vibe switch.
right.
Let's go with Desired.
All right, vibe switch. Oh, I need that as a sound too. Vibe switch, just like.
BeatStars.com. BeatStars.com.
I was gonna let it go. I was so close. I was so close. So dope. Such a vibe. I appreciate that vibe switch. All right. Final beat.
Man, let's go out on some really hard trap. Let's go with No Drip.
All right. This is the final beat from Gabe Monro today. Let's go.
It's my last beat ever.
No, stop.
BeatStars.com. BeatStars.com.
Sorry.
No.
Cloud9 said, "Hey, type beat," which was probably one of the best ones he's ever said. Gives me going in hot vibes. Very dope. Like, honestly, the two of you, I cannot wait to hear whatever collaboration you guys end up doing, because
Dude, those were sick. I really like Desire a lot. It was a lot.
Thanks,
you
man.
guys complement each other's sounds like big time, and you guys are individually and together are incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. I've tagged their BeatStars accounts and Instagram accounts in that comment there. So copy, paste, follow, like, DM, all of those things. Are you guys open to collaborations and stuff? Like, can anyone DM you and like hit you up and go?
Always, anytime.
Solid.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like, you want to send me some samples or you have an idea? Just sometimes I might say no. Obviously, I can't do everybody, but
No promises, of course. Yeah.
No promises, but I'm always down.
Yes. Gabe, you're good with it too?
I'm open to collaborate with eeryskies. I'll tell you what.
There we go.
No, y'all can send me stuff, definitely. Like I said, no promises, but like, hey, let's make the community wider. Let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, no pressure ever, but yeah. All right, y'all. So, like I said, I've tagged their pages there. Do not forget to go from here to Twitter at BeatStars for our Twitter Spaces conversations. Today, it's going to be Sydney and Carly discussing advice for upcoming music industry professionals. So we'll double down on that a little bit over there. Thanks for hanging out on the deal. We'll be here next week, next Tuesday. Shout out to eeryskies and Gabe Monro for hanging out with me today. Thank you for your music and your energy, and wishing you guys all the best.
Cool. Thank you for having us.
We're out of here. It's done. It's over. Go to Spaces. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
See ya. Bye.